Today, we're diving into Hoylu's pull planning module. On top of the base Hoylu platform, each module offers a layer of functionality specific to the process at hand. For the pull planning module, you'll notice that there are 2 new icons in the toolbox and a schedule placed in the middle of the workspace. These columns represent weeks, and they can be expanded into days. You'll notice that they don't have any specific dates labeled on them. So let's go ahead and set up our timeline by clicking on the calendar icon. Anchor date is the first date of a project. Let's say your project is going to kick off in the next week. Our team's work week starts on a Monday, so we'll keep that set at Monday. But our team doesn't work on weekends, so let's turn that off. That means that if any tasks bleed into the weekend, they'll be automatically split and continue onto the next week, unless individually turned off. Now the dates are set. The plus signs on either side of the pull plan will extend the schedule that many number of weeks. Let's say this project is expected to run for about 20 weeks. Expanding it at 20 will give us plenty of room to plan. We'll be adding tasks and milestones to the days and weeks, but we can also organize tasks by swim lanes. Swim lanes are good for breaking up work into specifics, whether that's work on different floors, zones, areas, or different teams. To add a swim lane, simply add content under the break in the plan. Moving everything out will delete it for you. So if you want to establish swim lanes ahead of time, add in labels as placeholders. Now, this is only an admin feature, but you can also add the color and edit the name of the swim lane. Moving on to the task inbox, let's create a trade and then a ticket. Let's add electric. Now, this is where we want electricians to come in and populate the task inbox with everything they'll be responsible for in the project. Then, when everyone's tasks are in, the pull planning can begin. You'll see that a task has a title, a description, links, days, and the people that are needed. Tasks with more days associated with them will naturally be longer as they span across several days in the schedule. Before we start planning, let's take a detour to talk about the task inbox settings. Now, these are mostly admin settings, but they're worth looking into. Here, admins can manage the trades in the task inbox. Add them, delete them, edit them, and assign them new colors. Then we have variance reasons. Now, we'll see those in action shortly, but basically, when a task is marked as incomplete, the user needs to report why it's incomplete. We have a list of variance reasons out of the box, but you can add custom variance reasons specific to your processes. Maybe where you live, a snow day is a reoccurring problem for your projects. Let's add that in. And finally, on the settings page, we have the import settings. Without getting too technical, the pull planning module has reporting tools, and many users would like to export those to spreadsheets. We might use the term trade, but somebody else might say team. So here is where you could remap those fields to fit your needs. And here's the fun part, pull planning. So let's start building out a plan. Now that everything is laid out, if we need to, double-click on the task to edit it. Maybe you're taking a look at this and thinking, this will actually take 3 days, not 1. Maybe you want to tag something as critical, or day shift, night shift. And dependencies. This task needs to be complete before this other task. How do we show that? Simply drag a connector between them. What if you accidentally overlap them? Well, Hoylu will provide you a visual cue, this red outline, and let you know that you need to replan it. So we have planned, committed, complete, and incomplete tasks. If a task was committed, it can't be moved unless you're an administrator. You'll have to mark it as incomplete and select a variance reason. You'll see a little X at the bottom to indicate that it's been replanned. So that's how you'll set up your pull plan, and then how you use it for your project. For reports, you have metrics at the top of each day and each week of your schedule. If you click into them, you'll navigate to the Insights panel. We have pre-built reports and then the option to customize them to your needs. In addition to charts, you can access a weekly work plan in your Insights panel. The weekly work plan gives you a detailed spreadsheet view of the plan. This information can also be filtered. Focus on specific swim lanes, trades, statuses, weeks, or labels. Capacity and task descriptions can also be toggled. Let's say I'm interested in the capacity of our concrete team this week. Filtering by the concrete trade and this specific week, I now see that 8 people are needed on Friday. We'll need to move some things around to accommodate our capacity of 5. A weekly work plan is useful for teams who want to know what work lies ahead of them for the week. In the bottom right-hand corner of the panel, you can export this information and send it out. Finally, we'll go over a couple additional settings for the admins. 1. Users. This is where we'll set which user is a part of which trade. This is helpful for keeping users focused on their tasks and their tasks alone during the poll planning process. 2. Printing. You can print this poll plan to a PDF. So we've included a printer-friendly version of the app's color scheme. Weekends and holidays. Now, we saw that when we created the poll plan that you can set your work week and whether or not you work on weekends. But there are also holidays to account for too. And sometimes you will be working on that weekend. Only admins can do this, but if you click on the day itself, you can toggle it on and off as available. Tasks will then break and continue after the holiday. But if you really want to work on the weekend, anyone is able to force it to continue to the weekend. And that's it. If you have any additional questions, set up a call with one of our experts. Happy planning!